Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back to our televised classroom. I'm so happy you guys came back today. So today, what we're going to be learning is we're going to be applying what we know about sounds to decode words. We're also going to review asking and answering questions when we're reading a text. So let's get started. All right, I want you to listen to the sound you hear at the end of star. What do you hear at the end of star? That's right, you hear the word R. Okay, I'm going to show you some pictures, and I want you to tell me which word do you hear R like in star. Let's look at the first one. We have card, cane, and crate. Which word has R like in star? Did you say card? Good job. Let's do another one. We're listening for R like in star. Here we have sail, scarf, and nail. Which word says R like in star? Did you say scarf? Good job. Scarf says R like in star. One more. Now, this one is a tricky one. You're going to have to think. We're listening for R like in the word star. Here we have barn, purse, and pear. Which one says R like in star? Did you say barn? Good job. Barn says R like in the word star. All right. Today we're going to be working with the R sound. Whenever I hear R, the letters AR make the R sound. So together, A and R say R. In my word, I have star. I hear R at the end, so those letters will be AR. Let's look at some more words with R. Okay, let's look at my word. I see AR. I know the sound will be R. Let's sound it out together. Farm. Farm. Good job. I see AR. I know the sound will be R. Let's sound it out together. Arm. Arm. Let's do another one. AR says R. Yard. Yard. AR says R. Large. Large. And our last one, AR says R. Start. Start. Let's read all of the words together. You ready? Farm, arm, yard, large, and start. Good job. You guys did a great job reading with AR. Now let's write and spell with AR. Remember, whenever you hear that R sound, the letters AR represent that sound. So I'm going to say a word. We're going to listen for the sound, and we're going to write the sounds that we hear. Listen to my first word. Shark. Shark. Say the sounds you hear in shark. Ark. Good job. Let's write the sounds that we hear in shark. R. Shark. Good job. Let's do another one. Barn. Barn. Say the sounds you hear in barn. Barn. Let's write the sounds we hear in barn. Barn. Good job. Let's do another one. Park. Park. You hear that R? Say the sounds you hear in park. Ark. Let's write the sounds we hear in park. Ark. Every time you hear that R sound, you're going to write the letters AR. And our last one is going to be a compound word. Backyard. Backyard. Now let's break this one up into syllables. What's the first syllable of backyard? That's right, back. Let's say the sounds we hear in back. B, Ack. And our second syllable is yard. Say the sounds you hear in yard. Y, R, D. Very good. Let's read the words that we wrote. Shark, barn, park, backyard. Good job. Let's read some sentences with R. Look at my sentences. Can you identify the words that have R? Good job. Shark, barn, and farm. Let's read this sentence together. You ready? Let's read. Can a shark live in a barn on a farm? Can a shark live in a barn on a farm? No. Let's do another one. Can you pick out the words with AR? Good job. Clark, park, and backyard. That was one we just spelled. Let's read this one together. Clark will park his car in the backyard. Good job reading, writing, and spelling words with AR, boys and girls. Now, in your packet, you have some practice with AR. You're going to do just what we did together. You're going to read words with AR, write words with AR, and you're going to write some sentences. So this is some practice for you to do at home. All right, let's talk about, last week we started talking about asking and answering questions. Do you remember why I said good readers ask questions? That's right, to help them understand what they're reading. Now, last week we talked about good readers ask questions before, during, and after their reading. Today, we're going to focus on the specific questions and what do they mean. So if you remember on last week, we started talking about the 5W plus H. The who, what, where, when, why, and how. So when you see those questions word, there's specific things that they're asking you for. When you see who, this question is asking you to think about the character, to think about the person that the story is about. On last week, I read to you, on Monday, I read to you Giggle, Giggle, Quack. Who did Farmer Brown leave in charge of the farm? Think about the person or the character that Farmer Brown left in charge. Who was that? You're right. His name was Bob. It was his brother. So who wants you to think about your character? The question what? What is telling you to think about in the text the things or the actions that happened in the text? In our story, Giggle, Giggle, Quack, what thing did Duck do that was wrong? Right, he was writing notes to Bob to trick him. Good job. The next question word, where. Where is telling you to think about the place or the setting of your text. Where did our story take place? That's right, it was on a farm. Also, I could ask you, where did Bob bathe the pigs? So think about the place in the story where Bob bathed the pigs. Where was that? That's right, it was in Farmer Brown's bathroom, in his bathtub. The question when is telling you to think about a time. Now, when we think about time, we usually think about clocks. Time can also mean a season, a month, a time of day, night. Those are all clue words to time. In our story, Bob checked on the animals. Do you remember when he checked on the animals? That's right, he checked on them right before he went to bed. Why? The question word why is asking you to think about the reasons in action or the purpose that something happened. In our story, Duck kept writing those notes, tricking Bob. Why was he doing that? That's right, they thought it was funny and he wanted to get the things that all the animals really wanted. And our last question word is how. How means by what means did something happen? So in our story, think about Farmer Brown. He was on vacation. How did he know the animals were up to doing things they shouldn't have been doing? How did he know that? That's right, he heard them on the telephone. So today I'm going to read a text and we're going to focus on these 5 W's and how question words of our text. Let's look at our text. Today I'm going to read to you Frog and Toad Are Friends. This is one of my favorite stories. Boys and girls, this is a good chapter book for first graders to start at. This story tells about two friends and the adventures that they have together. Today, I'm going to focus on the chapter called Spring. The author of this text is Arnold Lobel. Our chapter is titled Spring. Frog ran up the path to Toad's house. He knocked on the front door. There was no answer. Toad, Toad, shouted Frog, wake up, it is spring. Blah, said a voice from inside the house. Toad, Toad, cried Frog. The sun is shining, the snow is melting, wake up. I am not here, said the voice. Frog walked into the house. It was dark. All the shutters were closed. Toad, where are you? Called Frog. Go away, said the voice from a corner of the room. Toad was lying in bed. He had pulled all the covers over his head. Frog pushed Toad out of bed. He pushed him out of the house and onto the front porch. Toad blinked in the bright sun. Help! Help, said Toad. I cannot see anything. Don't be silly, said Frog. What you see is the clear, warm light of April. And it means that we can begin a whole new year together, Toad. Think of it, said Frog. We will skip through the meadows and run through the woods and swim in the river. In the evenings, we'll sit right here on this front porch and count the stars. You can count them, Frog said. You can count them, Frog, said Toad. I will be too tired. I'm going back to bed. Toad went back into the house. He got into the bed and pulled the covers over his head again. But Toad, cried Frog, you will miss all the fun. Listen, Frog, said Toad. How long have I been asleep? You have been asleep since November, said Frog. Well then, said Toad, a little more sleep will not hurt me. Come back again and wake me up 1/2 May. Good night, Frog. But Toad, said Frog, I will be lonely until then. Toad did not answer. He had fallen asleep. Frog looked at Toad's calendar. The November page was still on top. Frog tore off the November page. He tore off the December page and the January page, the February page, and the March page. He came to the April page. Frog tore off the April page too. Then Frog ran back to Toad's bed. Toad, Toad, wake up. It's May now. What? Said Toad. Can it be May so soon? Yes, said Frog. Look at your calendar. Toad looked at the calendar. The May page was on top. Why, it is May, said Toad as he climbed out of bed. Then he and Frog ran outside to see how the world was looking in the spring. Wasn't that a good story? I told you, Frog and Toad is a wonderful book. Now, for our lesson today, we're going to focus on specific questions from the text to show that we understand what we read. Remember what I told you, what each question word means. Let's look at the first question. The question asks, who did not want to get out of bed? Remember, I told you that who wants you to think about the characters. So think about our two characters. Who did not want to get out of the bed? Yes, that's it. It was Toad. Toad did not want to get out of bed. Let's look at the next question. What did Frog want with Toad? So now they want you to think about the action that happened in the story. What did Frog want with Toad? Yes, he wanted to play with him. So he wanted to play. The next question, when? When did Frog go to Toad's house? Now remember, the question word when is asking you to think about a time. When did Frog go to Toad's house? There were a couple of clues to this. Can you think of one? Right. Remember on the calendar, it was April. That's the time. Do you remember another? Right. When Frog came in, remember he said it's spring. So spring is also a time to tell you when something happened in the text. You guys are doing so good with these questions. The next question is, where were the characters in the story? Remember, the question word where is asking you to think about a place in the text that they were. Let's think about it. Where were the characters in the story? I remember Toad being in bed, and I remember Frog coming over. When you're in bed, where are you? That's right, you're at home. So where were the characters in the story? They were at Toad's house. Good job. All right, let's look at our next question. Why? Why didn't Toad want to play? Remember, the question word why wants you to think about a reason. Can you think of a reason why Toad did not want to go and play with Frog? I think I can think of one. He was still tired. Remember, he said, what time is it? Come back and get me, May. So he wanted to sleep. So Toad wanted to sleep. You guys are doing so great. And our last question, how? Remember, how means about what means did something happen. So this question says, how did Frog get Toad to play with him at the end? What did Frog do to get Toad to play with him? That's right, he tricked him and told him that it was May. Good job, boys and girls. This week, you're probably going to be taking some assessments, and you're probably going to be answering some questions about a text in your packet. Remember, these 5 W question words and this how are asking you to think about specific things from your text. Remember what each one of them means, and go back in your text and find your answer. Next week, we're going to continue to working with asking and answering questions, but we're going to learn a new sound. I will see you guys next week. Bye.